The art of unspoken influence. Harnessing energy to impact others. Have you ever noticed how human interactions are like an intricate puzzle? Every piece must fit just right, but there's a particular aspect that stands out: the ability to influence others without uttering a single word. Imagine a conversation where you don't speak, yet your presence, your energy, changes the dynamic. This isn't about verbal persuasion. It's about thoughts, energy, and the silent messages our minds communicate. As we explore this concept further, it becomes apparent that this skill can be honed, much like a muscle that strengthens with practice. The more we work on it, the more powerful our ability to influence people becomes, subtly but profoundly. The journey to mastering unspoken influence begins with self-discovery. When we start to focus inward and understand our own thoughts and energy, we uncover how deeply we can affect those around us. It's akin to using a magnifying glass to concentrate sunlight. The more we focus, the more potent our impact. When we return to familiar faces, people we've interacted with countless times, they can suddenly seem different. It's not them who have changed, but our perception of them, and in turn, their response to us shifts. This phenomenon transcends personal interactions. It alters how we engage in our professional lives, with colleagues, clients, and even in our daily routines. The underlying principle is the idea that, deep down, everyone's thoughts are interconnected. Even though it might not always seem obvious, this connection exists. Once we grasp this, we begin to see how effortlessly we can influence others without uttering a word. We reshape our beliefs about people, and in doing so, these beliefs begin to manifest in our interactions. Think about it. How often have you treated someone based on your perception of them, only to find that they start to align with that image? This happens more frequently than we realize. Whether in business or our personal lives, this skill becomes a transformative tool. The interconnection of thought and reality. Visualize applying this understanding in every area of your life. Imagine building stronger, deeper connections, not through words, but through shared understanding and respect. In such a world, disagreements would no longer be battles to be won but opportunities for empathy and resolution. Conflicts could dissolve more easily, as we tap into the power of our thoughts and intentions, allowing us to navigate through misunderstandings with greater insight. This wouldn't just improve our personal relationships, but would create a more cooperative and productive environment at work as well. In mastering this art of silent influence, we also embark on a path toward greater self-awareness and personal growth. As we become more attuned to the impact of our non-verbal cues, we learn more about ourselves. We become conscious of our thoughts, how they shape our feelings, and how those feelings influence our interactions with others. In this way, the power of silence becomes not only a tool for influencing others but also a mirror for reflecting on our inner selves. Silence, the hidden power in communication. Silence is often an underappreciated aspect of communication, yet it carries an immense potential to shape conversations and influence outcomes. Think about it. When someone pauses during a conversation, doesn't it grab your attention? That momentary silence forces you to focus on the next words, making them seem more significant. It's like highlighting a critical point in a text. It stands out, lingering in your mind. This same power of silence can be utilized to influence others without speaking. A well-timed pause can prompt deeper reflection from your listener, turning a casual interaction into something more profound. Consider this. When you stay silent in a conversation, particularly in emotionally charged situations, you create space for the other person to share their thoughts. This is incredibly valuable in scenarios like meetings, negotiations, or counseling sessions. Your silence becomes an invitation, signaling that you are fully present, engaged, and interested in what the other person has to say. Silence, then, is not an absence of communication but a powerful statement of intent and attention. In storytelling or public speaking, silence builds suspense. Imagine a storyteller pausing just before revealing a crucial detail. That pause creates anticipation, making the audience eager for the next word. In the same way, in your daily conversations, a deliberate moment of silence before responding conveys that you are considering your words carefully. It shows that you are thoughtful, respectful, and not reacting impulsively. In heated debates, such a pause can act as a cooling mechanism, allowing both sides to collect their thoughts before proceeding. Silence, when used strategically, is a sign of confidence and control. It shows that you are not desperate to fill the space with words and that you are comfortable allowing thoughts to breathe. In settings like interviews, negotiations, or leadership roles, this can be a game changer. It allows others to sense your composure, which can be incredibly persuasive. The influence of energy on attitudes and behaviors. Let's take this a step further. Imagine working on a project with someone who initially seems disinterested. Yet, as time goes on, you notice a subtle shift in their behavior. They start contributing more, their attitude improves, and suddenly, they're fully on board. What changed? You didn't say anything, but your energy, your thoughts, and the way you perceived them began to shape their reality. This is the beauty of influencing others without words. It happens naturally, without force or coercion. This silent influence isn't confined to work relationships. It can happen with friends, family, and even strangers. People begin to reflect the image you hold of them in your mind. If you see someone as capable and kind, they often start behaving that way, as if they're picking up on your unspoken energy. This phenomenon happens without conscious effort. It's the silent power of belief. One thinker who explored these ideas deeply was William Walker Atkinson. Writing under various pseudonyms, including Magnus Incognito, Atkinson delved into the mystic and psychological aspects of human interaction. His works, such as The Kybalion and The Secret Doctrine of the Rosicrucians, offer profound insights into how we can influence others through the power of our thoughts. Atkinson believed that thoughts were not just confined to our minds but radiated outwards in invisible waves, influencing those around us. These thought waves, he argued, are as real as sound waves or light waves and have the potential to shape the thoughts and feelings of others. Thoughts as energy. The power of thought waves. Atkinson's idea of thought waves is fascinating. He suggested that when we think or feel something strongly, we project these invisible waves of energy that can influence the minds of those around us. Ever walked into a room and felt the atmosphere without anyone saying a word? That's the power of thought waves at play. They shape the unspoken dynamics between people, often without us even realizing it. These waves are not just some abstract theory, they are something you can harness and use in your everyday interactions. Whether in a work meeting, at a social gathering, or even with your family, being conscious of your thoughts and how they radiate outwards can dramatically alter the outcomes of your interactions. Instead of trying to force people to behave in a certain way, focus on projecting positive and constructive thoughts about them. Over time, you'll notice that people begin to respond to you in ways that align with your expectations, all without you having to say a word. Practical applications in everyday life. The ability to influence others without speaking can transform your daily life. Let's say you're working with a difficult colleague. Instead of confronting them head-on or trying to convince them through argument, you start picturing them as the ideal team member. You focus on this image and genuinely believe that your working relationship will improve. Soon enough, you notice subtle shifts in their behavior that align with your thoughts. This isn't manipulation, it's the power of belief and energy in action. This approach works just as well in personal relationships. Imagine a friend you've been struggling to connect with. Instead of dwelling on past conflicts, you start seeing him as a supportive, understanding person. You focus on the positive qualities you want to see in them. Over time, their behavior starts to match your mental image, and your relationship improves without any confrontations or forced conversations. Cultivating inner harmony for outer success. As you begin to see how well this works, doubts fade away. You realize that by focusing on your thoughts and energy, you can guide your relationships toward harmony without ever needing to speak about it. This is not just a theory, it's a practical, powerful way to enhance your personal and professional life.